And good morning to you, Mr. Salifu Combat. You're a pharmacist at Boko. And Dr. Asana, you're also the group founder for your company. I say good morning to you, and I wish you all the best in life, especially for this week as well. But let's start the review with the daily graphic. We have on the front page, COPEC petition special prosecutor. It wants 1.8 million crude oil sale by bust investigated. And the story is on page 3 of the paper. We just played you an insert. I'm sure it's going to dominate the headlines this morning. And it says the issue of the alleged sale of some 1.8 million barrels of crude oil by the bulk oil storage and transportation company to two unlicensed oil companies at discounted prices does not seem to have ended. And COPEC, that raised alarm bells about the purported sale of the oil, has hit back at bust and even raised the matter to a higher level, apparently by petitioning the special prosecutor to investigate the umpires. Addressing a press conference in Tema yesterday, the executive secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, called the intention of the OSP to the issue and called the attention of the OSP to the issue and called on the office to investigate the sale and sanction those found culpable in the purported illegality, which cost the country huge sums of money. And he continues as saying the set sale of the product was being held in storage facilities of the Tema refinery before the subsequent sale. We've had a lot to say. We brought you about the latest incident in Area and the Tiwa, etc. But let's go. It's also captured on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. It has the Tiwa residents walk to Flagstaff House against bauxite mining. The story is on page 20 of the paper. And just to read to you the initial paragraph, just says that about 70 concerned residents of Tiwa in the East Akim municipality in the eastern region, they have begun a 95-kilometer walk from the Tiwa forest range to the Flagstaff House to put pressure on government to rescind a decision to use the country's largest forest reserve for bauxite mining. We also have Advocates Campaign for Right to Information Act. The story is on page 16, and you go to the center spread. Ghana, Qatar hold bilateral talks on areas of cooperation. We know critically the way our citizens are treated in the Gulf states or the Emirates is always a concern for many advocates as well as civil rights groups. We have on the back page of the Daily Graphic, work on the Kotoka International Airport terminal 91% complete, we're told. And it says the project, which is a Terminal 3, is costing or summed $250 million US. And it's 91% complete, and it's due to be inaugurated in the latter part of the year. So that's great news for all of you who keep traveling up and down the continent and the rest of the world. So you get to know that the country's airport is going to be a fit for purpose one after all. Now let's go to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. It has on the front page, new CDD Afro barometer out, 75% want president to explain government spending, and it's on page 2 of the paper. And it's simply captured as saying that most Ghanaians endorse the rule of law and the legitimacy of key state enforcement bodies, according to a recent Afrobarometer survey, which is revealing, affirming that the rule of law should and in fact does anchor democratic practices in the country. And even so, there's a widespread and growing belief that inequities exist in how laws are applied, with unfair advantage given to officials and the wealthy. It's also been a concern for many a country. All right, so let's go to some of the stories also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Some MMDCs still at least 60,000 Ghana cedis every Friday. Former MP, we're talking yesterday, we read the story. It's former member of parliament for North Dying, George Lowe. He's also a legal practitioner. He made this assertion on a station over the weekend. So those are the stories we have. The Daily Dispatch newspaper. Let's look at the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times has the front page story, declare Muntie 3 pardon null and void. So we have Supreme Court hears case today. And the story captured on page 4 All right. Says that the Supreme Court will this morning hear writ filed by 3 Ghanaian legal practitioners against the Attorney General and Minister of Justice challenging the constitutionality of former President John Dramani Mahama for granting presidential pardon to the Muntie 3 who were jailed for contempt of court on July 27, 2016. And the plaintiffs, Nana Santi Bedietu, Mrs. Elikplim El Agbamava and Alfred Tia Yaboa, contend that the president cannot arrogate unto himself powers exclusively within the bosom of the judiciary by the Constitution of Ghana. So it's a long-standing issue. There was great debates when that decision was taken by the president, and we all know per what the literature and the education was at the time. It was within the prerogative of the president. It was also a right granted him by the Constitution as well. But let's move on. Area youth in bloody clash again. 1 dead, school closed down. It's very unfortunate that we're experiencing this. Armed men abduct 4 children at a Suchari. And NIB launches its 55th anniversary celebrations. We have the Vice President as a main guest of honor. So let's have also on the back page, government urged to halt fumigation at Tema Port and Ghana-Qatar hold bilateral meeting in Accra. And that's on the back page. You have a picture there of a Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, Pius Enam Hajide. Let's look at the last but one paper, actually. It's always my favorite news tabloid. The Daily Guide newspaper has on the front page, Cocoa Board nails Opuni over fake fertilizer. One village, one dam kicks off. CID chases fake Zain security boss. You have a picture there of one Chuman Pofu. And 1 killed in renewed clashes at Itiwa, and Cabinet approves RTI bill. We've talked about a number of these stories over time, but let's look at the one about the CID and its nailing of Zain security boy. It says a man who has been holding himself out as the chief executive of Zain Security Company Limited is on the run following failed attempts to get him arrested. The gentleman is named there as Chum Ampofuijukum, according to information available to the Daily Guide, has failed apparently to honor an invitation extended to him by the CID of the Ghana Police Service at the police headquarters Accra after his alleged nefarious activities at the Kotoka International Airport came to the fore. Now, let's go to the center spread of, it's always a news one poll. I hope today I haven't looked at it before now. Okay, so it's there. Never abort a child because of marriage. Kafui Danko says actress Kafui Danko has urged women never to consider abortion as their solution to pregnancies that occur out of wedlock. She advised they should feel free and have their babies without fear of being judged by people who claim high moral grounds in society. Judgment, she opined, is exclusively the preserve of God and not any human being. All right. And then the ongoing controversies about Shatta Wale and all the concerns he'd been raising, or his replies to the manager of the late Ebony Rain, Bullet, who, as we all know, was a member of the duo, Rough and Smooth. And it says the late Ebony Rain's manager, Bullet, has said Shatta Wale needs help and prayers. And Bullet's comments came after Shatta Wale attacked him during an interview on the entertainment review program of Peace FM on Saturday. This is someone who claims to be from the ghetto. Is that how to talk? Then he went on and on. Many of you will see a lot of these circulated videos on YouTube. I'm talking about YouTube. You can always watch us live on YouTube. My Jawline TV is always available. There's outlet on YouTube for you to watch us live. We also have Kweku Elliott Blas, George Lutrot is also on the center spread. The news one pull out of the Daily Guide. It says there's an actor called Kweku Elliott has lashed out at Councillor George Lutrot over his recent unfortunate comment about actress Yvonne Elson and her daughter Ryan Roberts, questioning if he is intelligent at all, etc., etc. We have other stories there. Nollywood actress strips naked on birthday. All right. So let's look at the last paper. It's the Business and Financial Times. It has on the front page, doubling GDP, that's the gross domestic product per capita in 6 years, unrealistic. According to the World Bank, we're still hovering around the numbers 1,600, I believe. I hope my figures are right. 500, all right. Government's desire to double Ghana's GDP per capita of around $1,500 in the next 6 years is unrealistic, as it would require per capita growth rate of about 9%. And the World Bank has said that although it said the level of ambition is important to pool in resources and energy for their development. And the story is a great read. Just in case you have the Business and Financial Times, please make sure that you not only visit their sites, that's their website, but also you grab a copy of the Business and Financial Times and get to read about the story. Great insight. I was reading it this morning. Great education you can have, as far as I'm concerned, getting to know about what the micro level indicators are and what we all need to know if we want to double or perhaps do better than the current per capita per GDP is. All right, so we have Free Zones Authority strategizes to serve industry better. And you have a picture there of the Executive Secretary for the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Michael Ochri Befi. Oil services based growth perpetuating poverty. And this one is incisive, good narrative as far as this is concerned, because it says that the continuous reliance on mining and the services sector over the past decade has not created enough job opportunities needed for the population at large to escape poverty. And it's the latest World Bank Ghana systematic country diagnostic report which is indicating this, and this is a concern for many of us. So the thing is, because we have a lot of inflows in the extractive sector, mining, oil, etc., and the services sector seen a lot of growth over the last decade, we've ignored that to the detriment of agricultural growth and then industry. And that's where Mavi comes in, with all the good thought she's gathered over the last 24 hours. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to pick myself up from a hitch this morning.
Yeah, we'll give you water. Yeah. You drink it, you'll be fine.
Well, I'm not sure what I would do. But good morning. You're good?
Morning. Yeah. Okay. Just hang it in there. It's not bad.
Great.
How are you too?
Well, I'm managing.
Yeah.
I'm managing.
Last week was... this week is...
This week is a bit slow.
Yeah, for us.
It happens.
Yesterday I was feeling too lonely. Yeah, the set is big, so...
You're alone. Yeah, I'll find somebody. I mean, I'll find somebody for you.
Yeah, I'll try.
Just give me your specs.
Oh, maybe like Benis Abubeido. Would be great.
That's a done deal. You know, that's a done deal.
Benis Abubeido.
Yeah, that's a done deal. So you can hang out with her tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Okay.
She's not feeling sick or something, then we can always...
No, she's 100% healthy.
All right.
Some 39 minutes after 6. You're done with the newspapers.
So, I think so. We just have to do the online portals now. What has captured your imagination over the last 12 hours as far as...
Oh, Mr. Rollins and Hannah Tete.
Yeah, I love that. That insert. Can we play it again?
Mr. Rollins and Hannah Tete.
Yeah. I was playing it this dawn when I was coming to work. You know, the whole thing was comical in a way. And you know, sometimes he can say some serious stuff light-heartedly, and that's a good way of penetrating information.
But where did it come from? You know, for a moment, I thought that
he was addressing. I
thought that maybe this had happened way back, and the media is now probably just
no, it's fresh from the weekend.
Where is it coming from? You know, where is this coming from?
I read a comment on Facebook which says that the comments that you're about to watch were very founder-like. Well, so we got to watch this.
It's a boom.
Yeah.
Foreign Minister Hannah Tete Koda. O country Lord, I'm so afraid no country no. Now Lord in a country no say. Oh, old man. It is a assembly one jamuana. Again, assembly. One time, in fact, twice, Sawumanu, now I hear who champion jockey, were Congress meeting. First time, no, whether it's Tamale, or Miri. Second time, somewhere. Third time was 6 March, a through honor. So no a foreign minister. Or some people woman him, some guests. They came late, one more chia. Or chia me you know namiti, you know, from her throat. Later on me besides that. Not knowing. Me know. Samu ko namu chia. Big people or mampeni for the big chiefs, big chiefs, my chairman. Na mu shwe mu humu kase mu be use a chance am nianu tindia. Mu shwe se on share sa de no ring no because who try John obeye wo na wo be pin. Aha. Nya ya nyina ya nya chance Manchester. Not knowing, Shami Niji Nuhunam Ndoso. Nemutete Bodanu or Shami Yiri no Mia.
Okay, so Mama,
so you asked me, this is what has captured me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Forget about everything else that's been happening.
It's been getting the traction that it should be getting, and we have to thank Mr. Rollins for this. It's a great insight, though.
So what prompted this?
He was addressing cadres, and sometimes, you know, Mr. Rollins can be in his element, and I think it was just one of those moments.
But the handshake is not too far away, because he said when she was foreign minister.
Yeah. So it may be in the last 4 years or 5
Something
years.
like that.
Yeah. So it also means that he was addressing cadres. He was trying to situate the whole conversation around how the party needs to make sure it's right.
Still,
on its,
I don't see the connection with the handshake. And if you're shaking somebody who has a ring on, then you would shock yourself in the end if you're trying to shake them hard. Like, no, I don't see the connection.
No, he was trying to say if you were shaking chiefs, etc., because they have the ring. If you shake them boldly and hard, they can have a way of, you know, mitigating
so I
that.
guess
But the wife was smallish, or maybe smaller in size, and so she was the vulnerable and not this huge woman who was shaken. I don't know. I didn't know how.
Maybe the lesson is, please, if you have to shake anybody, make sure it is gentle. Don't squeeze.
Yeah.
It has to be really gentle and nice.
I love the part about how he said when he felt the wife crank. Anyway.
Okay, we're doing myjoyonline.com.
Yeah, so let's do myjoyonline.com, Amavi.
On the page this morning, we're not ready apparently. So magical pictures of Nzulezu that will make you want to visit. I think that's the next destination for the Ghana Month series. That's where Joy FM is.
Where have you been able to visit during the month?
This month?
Yeah, it's a Ghana Month series. Where have you been able to
My home is a tourist destination.
Okay.
The whole Kuntunse, that's where the satellite is, man.
Right.
That's a tourism destination. So yes, I have been somewhere in Kuntunse. Also, my Joy Online, Ekufuadu to meet UK business leaders on Ghana Beyond Aid. Opening directors of 2 companies in trouble over diluted fertilizer. Story says that Stephen Opuning, the directors of 2 companies have been accused of playing roles in the supply of substandard fertilizers and chemicals to cocoa farmers. Is this different from the 27 charges that's already, you know, hanging to be dealt with? Well, you can click on the story later on and read. Water for jobs and poverty reduction, the story of 3 communities. And then Nanansa Kwal's opinion, you can catch up with it on myjoyonline.com. Ghana's mobile phone subscribers to hit 40 million by 2020, according to a certain report. It's expected to hit 40 million in the next 2 years, according to the Jumia Annual Mobile Report 2018. And then 1 year on after Kintampo disaster, I couldn't save my friends, student remarks. Bar forced to install alarm on beer glasses because people keep stealing them. Who would want to steal a beer glass? So they have to put an alarm on it so that if you take the glass away, it would just blow and, you know, they would get you. I don't know, drink the beer and don't take the glass.
Maybe they love the glass.
I think sometimes people are so drunk, they enjoy the drink. They don't mean to steal, but they just want to keep drinking, even outside the bar.
Yeah, people like that who just want to keep drinking.
Yeah, the people who just want to keep drinking. I saw somebody smoke somewhere yesterday, and I felt, really?
What, a place that he or she shouldn't have been smoking?
Yeah, and the person was so desperate, you know, like he really wanted to smoke.
To puff.
And then when he finally got to do it, he was really doing it. Like somebody who's on edge or something.
Yeah.
So 48 persons picked up over Ashia violence. That's in the Ashanti region. Today, Tuesday, they will be taken to court. So they're being charged. Okay, so let me just read. Police in Ashanti will Tuesday bring charges against 48 suspects arrested in connection with clashes at Ahia, a town in the Kwabre East District. And I heard you say earlier that we're going to touch base and get the updates this morning.
Live.
All right. So there are other stories on myjoyonline.com that you can certainly catch up with.
Okay, so let's do City FM Online. There we have a new national ID rollout to begin April. Oh, okay. What does it mean? What's the rollout? Can we click that story and hear what exactly it means by rollout? Okay, so the next story, as we wait for that story, is COPEC officially petitions special prosecutor to probe boss. And we started this whole initiative of COPEC, etc. We went live to Duncan Amwa, and since then it's blown into a big story. Started with...
I heard there's a hint of a possible court action. Another one, you know, we heard that the boss, either boss or the boss MD was taking a certain action against Duncan Amwa.
Yes, but
I heard from a certain corner that there's another one coming up.
Hitting the gentleman again.
Yes, there's another one coming up following the press conference yesterday. And I was like, can we address the issues? Can we stick to the issues, really? Can we stick to the issues?
Ghana.
I don't know. I just feel like maybe boss is trying to be bossy a little bit.
Yeah, there's a big state organization. So sometimes it pays. It says the vice president, well, this one is interesting. It says we've been assured that the National Identification Authority will begin
Why
the rollout.
Haven't we been able to do it in the past?
Of the new...
because he had said that it was going to begin in January, February, March. Now it's April. So what's the reason for us not being able to do it in the past like he had said before? So you see, in the latest assurance on this project, Dr. Baumia said enough measures have been put in place to ensure a successful rollout of the identification card system.
So they said whether you are a foreigner or a citizen, you will have unique ID numbers, and this will automatically transform into your tax identification number.
That's not the point.
So when you don't file your taxes,
Roland, that's not the point. We want to see the thing come into fruition. We know that the first gentleman has his Ghana card.
Is it hooked onto a database?
I don't know.
I think he's the only one on the database. Yeah.
But
the president, he's the only one on the national identification.
That's why he's the first gentleman of the land. When you get to that level, you also get an exclusive card.
Oh, but I'll be alone, so
ahead of everybody.
It doesn't work when
I wonder
alone.
if he uses it. By the way, does he use it anywhere?
For what? Because it's
identification.
No, you don't have a data. When you have a database, then you can
identification. Like you go somewhere and I'm the president of Ghana. This is my card.
I am the president of.
Yeah.
I am the president of Ghana. Okay.
But I don't know. Enough assurances already. I'm tired of it. Next month, I won't be surprised if it doesn't happen. But that's not where we want to get to as Ghanaians.
Yeah, true.
You know?
I agree perfectly. Yeah. 1 killed, 5 arrested in renewed clashes at Anria. We have most Ghanaians believe the rich are above the law. Afrobarometer is the latest, we're told. Yeah, they are. Good,
because see, they have the money, they have the connection, they have the network. I mean, how many times haven't we seen it? In many places. Sometimes
if you want to see just a simple example, even before you get to experience all that in the higher offices and places, just be on the road.
Yeah.
If you're driving a 4-wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, the police let you pass They are afraid to stop any four-wheel drive.
Listen.
Especially if it's, let's say, a Land Cruiser or something like
so
that the government agencies.
And walked to a vendor
yes.
to buy something. And then you find that somebody will also come and park their vehicle. And the dude wants to attend to the guy who has come to park, forgetting that you've walked from wherever.
Yeah.
And it's first come, first serve. So if it's first come, first serve, why are you serving the person who is driving who has just come to park? If you cross me,
because they saw you walk down.
The way I would deal with you.
Namdade. You know Namdade. You know Namdade.
No, who's that?
If you,
Namdade.
It means that you walk without. Yeah.
I've had to deal with people like that. Don't cross me like that. I will tell you to the face.
Yeah, I know.
What makes the other person better than me because I walked here?
True.
Why are you serving the person who's sitting in the car who has just come to park? And so it's just a reflection. It's just what we've been doing. That's what we see.
It's the whole posture and the psychological mindset of our society, really.
I mean, if you go somewhere and you look polished and you're speaking English, you look, somebody get, oh, hello, can I help you? Meanwhile, there's probably somebody who has come and is sitting down waiting and nobody has said any hello to the person. It's just, that is who we are, really. So I'm not surprised that it is reflecting in this one.
So Eugenia writes, says, talking our way to a cleaner Accra is an opinion. And you can read it. Farmer kills
Accra is the new London. Who said that? Accra is the new London. I will be on the case of Jospon, maybe Zoom Lion in the coming days. God help me. Because in my area, and now I don't even know who to complain to any longer. Exactly when he said Accra is a London, my refuse had not been picked for 2 weeks, something that was collected every week. And I haven't started yet. I'll have a special segment on Accra, London. Accra, London, Accra. We'll come to that.
Now we have farmer killing the friend's wife in disagreement over a cocoa farm.
Oh, crap.
Can we read that story? That's interesting. Central Region, a helpless victim of unplanned projects. And Mama, I don't know whether I've told you this, but like those that live in the new areas, all of us, yeah.
As in the outskirts of Accra.
Well, yeah. New areas.
Because we live in Accra and it's like we live in the eastern region.
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, but it's as if they are new areas. But we don't learn the lessons of the past by planning the new areas. Yeah. And we leave the whole plan to the hands of the traditional authority, who, after selling the lands, whether to an estate agency or to an individual, really have no concern. So you get to find somebody's house is facing like this, somebody's and there are no lanes that have been.
Yeah, I think that's why now people are kind of like encouraging. If you, I mean, not everybody can live in an estate, because that's almost like a bit planned, but that's just a small area that's planned. It's like you're just
living your own island.
Exactly. So people are encouraged. Maybe if you work with people, you buy the plots together for about 10 people and then you share that way. But that's not right. That's not what we are supposed to be doing. That's bigger than us. Fixing the road, doing the gutters, that's bigger than us. It's not for the ordinary person, the ordinary man to do. Yeah. And we've heard time and again how the real estate developers say that is one of the major reasons why the buildings are expensive. Because when you get the plot, you have to think about
your own road.
You have to think about road. Now you have to think about electricity, water. You have to think about a police station.
Your own sewer
And now
system.
Even when you come up with the police station, the police people want you to build quarters for them where they can sleep. Yeah, because that way they are closer
to the
police station. Exactly. So it's become our responsibility. Meanwhile, we continue to pay taxes for these things.
Well, true.
So like we're paying double, triple
everything
of a lot of things.
The same people.
Yeah.
So we have the police in Krankwanta in the Doma West district of the Bunafu region having arrested Anabela Alepoko alias Red for allegedly shooting to death his friend's wife in a disagreement over the ownership of the cocoa farm. And the 35-year-old woman Fatia Al-Hassan was killed at Paul Krom near Nyamiama, a farming community. And the incident happened. The incident, according to the police, was reported to them on Wednesday, the 14th of March, 2018, by some residents at about 11:30 a.m. Well, you don't do things in anger. It's something that we always say all the time. Yeah.
So the cocoa farm is sitting there. You've killed somebody's wife,
and you go to jail ultimately. I mean, that's
how do you win in a situation like this.
Everybody has lost. And the farm will be idle anyway.
Exactly.
And if you have dependents, they will suffer.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're also going to suffer the consequences of it.
Yeah, you will suffer the consequences.
But
But you even visit your own actions and the consequences on your dependents who are innocent of those actions that you took.
Yeah.
You should suffer alone.
A little patience.
A little patience. A little
Makes
patience.
all the difference.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just...
all right, we're done.
Yeah. So we do the BBC, Mama B.
So President Emerson Mnangagwa names hundreds of firms who refuse to return funds stashed abroad. Okay, but recently you had Mr. Mugabe speak for the first time.
Yeah.
Talk about how he helped this man and how he's kind of turned on him and how he couldn't have succeeded without the military's help and all.
True. That was a weird interview, I thought.
Yeah, but I don't think that anybody is innocent here. I don't think. I mean, I think we should be looking into
all of
has
them.
he stashed something elsewhere too? Yeah, nobody's innocent.
Because he's very rich too.
Nobody's innocent. A lot of things happened in Zimbabwe that was not transparent. It wasn't open to him. So whoever is looking, we must look at the person as well.
Charlie, Africa, just let the white live and look at the things that we do to ourselves. Charlie, it's enormous.
Look at you before you start looking beyond.
Africa.
So good luck to you, sir.
And we thought Zimbabwe was alone. Apparently, South Africa too is there.
Jacob Zuma. I mean, like it's big, really.
Yeah.
And on Africa Today, my dad Zuma is victim of witch hands. Edward Zuma says the reinstated corruption charges against his father are designed to smear him. So really, that's what Edward has been saying about his father. But Mr. Zuma, I mean, like, these are not good times for him at all.
Yeah, it's because he didn't behave well when he was in office.
Well, he would disagree with you. There were a lot of allegations, but he had always said that he was
head
innocent.
of state.
He had always said that
you'll be
he was
cleared.
innocent.
It's normal. It's an African thing, Charlie.
He had always said he was innocent, so you couldn't blame him.
Anyway.
It's just that, I mean, there were too many things surrounding
lots of allegations
himself
here and
his presidency.
Sometimes it becomes difficult.
But it's sad that it's all ending this way with this latest trial that's coming up.
Sometimes you just have to bow when the applause is loudest. You know, so that even your skeletons could be hidden well in your cupboard.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. But if you decide to overstay and sometimes cause too much trouble.
Did he overstay?
Well, the thing is that
I think he married too many, but did he overstay?
No, he caused too many problems for himself, attracting too much attention. That's a problem. When you are satisfied enough, you just have to just say, oh, I'm not running again or something of the sort. It helps the process, I think.
I think for those of us who are not South Africans, who don't live in South Africa, it was just the whole refurbishment of his house, all the money that went into it. I mean, it was all these allegations that kind of got us
the Gupta family
paying attention to him. But you can Google Jacob Zuma. You can go way back and you can look at some of the fantastic things that he did. But
during the early years of the apartheid,
all those things are now
the early years of the post-apartheid
overshadowed because of all the corruption allegations. Charity ship seized after migrant rescue, and then U.S. Robots set to take African jobs. Really, take your own jobs first. Drone shows massive crack on Kenyan road. Payout for tortured SA patients. DR Congo security forces killed, then hit protesters, according to the UN. Africa's only woman head of state to quit. Well, it's still a big question. You know about the president of Mauritius who used a card which was supposed to be for charity purposes to shop for herself, who says she's refunded all the monies.
Yeah.
But also going ahead to say that, listen, the men do it. It's not a big issue when the men do it, but when the women do it, it's
a big issue.
Then it's a big issue. Nigeria arrests wanted gun runner. You've heard the latest Amnesty report on the Dapchi girls who were kidnapped in Nigeria.
Yep.
So the report says that the Nigerian army was notified. They were notified before the kidnap. And then here we are, and then everybody, as if this is new. Meanwhile, people give you the hints that the bad guys were hanging around somewhere.
They had planned to have an attack.
Yeah. It's just our response to things. And then when it is done, we come and pretend that we're looking for the girls. Meanwhile, when the hints was given that we could have prevented...
You never take any action.
Exactly.
That's the difficulty we're in.
We're just living in pretense. Pretense. Nigerian army, please wake up. This thing will happen again. It's happened before. It's happened. It will happen again.
Well.
All right, lots of stories. You can catch up with all the other stories. UK says $500 million fraud money can go back to Angola, among many other stories on the BBC Africa page. Right about now, we have to knock out.
We have to do sports, and Benedict also will be here with the latest. Please make sure that you're right here with us. As always, get interactive on our social media handles, but we have to take a break. We'll be right back.